Welcome back to another All About RVs. I'm Jared Gillis, and today we're going to be looking at a handful of common, just very average RV mistakes that are out there. We see these all the time, and I imagine if we're honest with ourselves, there's going to be a few of the things on this list that I'm sure we have done in the past and made our own share of mistakes. So let's dive into the list. Number one on the list is forgetting to do a walk around your RV before you leave. Before you leave that RV park or the campsite that you're at, just making sure that you didn't forget anything. There's been a handful of times where we've seen people with a TV antenna up and driving down the road. We've seen water filters left behind, pressure regulators, dog bones, floor mats for RVs, just so many things just left behind that could be easily fixed by just doing a walk around and just kind of observing everything and where you had placed different things, and make sure that you have all the equipment that you came out with so that you can go home with the same amount of equipment. I've even seen where people have driven away with their awning still out or their power cord still connected. Just don't do that. The second mistake we often see is people trying to level up their RV with their stabilizing jacks. The stabilizing jacks on travel trailers and fifth wheels aren't meant to lift your RV. Now, some are equipped with auto leveling and that's different, but when you have those kind of stabilizer jacks where you crank them down and it's supposed to take some of that shake and wobble and just make it more secure when you're out there camping, those aren't meant to lift your RV and try and level them. So that's often how they get broke, why they don't work as well. It's just a mistake that's easy to avoid. Now, one of the personal preference that goes along with this is I often see people not leveling up their RV. I don't know why you wouldn't want to level your RV. It's better for it, it's more comfortable, but that's more of a personal preference. But as far as the fridge goes, if you're using the fridge in there, I would highly recommend leveling your RV so that it works better and or works properly, and it's not going to do damage to your refrigerator. But as far as those stabilizing jacks go, don't use those to try and level your RV. RV repair facilities oftentimes will have RVs in there where those jacks and those stabilizers are damaged because of people trying to use them improperly. Just know your equipment. The third mistake is one that I am definitely guilty of in the past, and that's not bringing in your awning when you have wind coming. So if you're there and the wind picks up and it's just slapping that awning around, don't be afraid to pull that thing in. If you're going somewhere, it's a good idea to know the area, check the weather. Are they expecting wind? Are there storms possible in the area where wind might be a concern? Just go ahead and bring that awning in. No sense on leaving it out there and coming back and having your awning just trashed. We saw some neighbors just down the way this last week that left their awning out and it just got wrecked in the wind. RV mobile repair place came out and swapped it out, and they're not difficult to swap out if you do it yourself, but why have that expense and why have to ask your friends to come over and help you swap out an awning when you could just roll it in and protect that thing? Just avoid that mistake and pull in that awning if wind is coming. Simple mistake, simple fix. The fourth mistake is not fun for anybody, and that's securing your drain hose. So in some states, this is actually a law or a requirement. I like to be able to screw in if there's threads on top of the drain hose, that your drain pipe that you're connecting your drain hose into. I love to be able to secure that in by threading that on. If they don't have threads, you can get one of those donuts where you're just able to stick it in there and put your hose in there so that it's more secure. There's not going to be an issue with the hose falling out when you're dumping your tanks. You don't obviously want a mess on your hands when you're dumping your black tank and emptying your gray tanks. Personal preference, side note, is I like using disposable gloves. So when I'm done messing with the drain hose and emptying the tanks, I just toss these things out and I don't have to worry about saving them or the contamination on them potentially. So disposable gloves is my preference. So links in the description to these and things like the donut that we talked about for emptying the tanks and securing your hose. Just secure that drain hose and make sure it doesn't cause an issue for you or the other campers around you. Just a quick side note on emptying your tanks. I know just about everybody knows this, but if there's some newbies out there, you don't leave your black tank open when you get to a campground. You let that thing fill up, and then when there's enough of the solids and the liquids in there, you're able to pull the lever and everything goes out at the same time. You don't want to leave that tank open, otherwise you basically just have a buildup of the solids, and then you got a big mess on your hands. So just make sure you dump those tanks properly. The last common problem we see out there often is just driving too fast with your RV. These things are usually big, they take a lot longer to stop, so give a little bit more distance for driving. Also on the towables and the travel trailers, a lot of times the speed rating on those ST tires is around 65 miles per hour. And if you exceed the speed rating of the tire, your chances of a blowout or a tire issue are they just skyrocket. It's through the roof. So just take your time, slow down, enjoy the trip. Don't follow so close, and watch that speed and know the speed rating on your tires so that you don't exceed it. You don't want to have one of those situations where you're stuck on the side of the road and it's really just an RV mistake that could have been avoided. Now, I'm not saying all tire issues are because of that, but if you can avoid these mistakes by slowing down a little bit, by all means, let's avoid some of these mistakes and get out there and have a good time. So I hope you enjoyed this simple video about common mistakes that we've seen. If you've seen other mistakes out there that you think might be able to help people to avoid them, leave that in the comments down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos about RVing, hit that subscribe button. And if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will see you in the next video.